two.
Well,
Just follow up with that too.
Correct.
Is Social Security, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Once you pay in $100,000, you won't pay the Social Security anymore. I think that's backwards. I think lower income people should not be paying into Social Security. And the higher income people should be paying into that Social Security. It's a huge tax cut once you make $100,000, whatever it is this year. You don't pay anymore. It's ridiculous.
So that wasn't a question, was it?
The second part.
Well, it is. I'd like you to put some legislation in to reverse that.
The second part points to the fact that there are ways to deal with Social Security that don't involve dismantling it.
Yeah.
The first part that you raised, ask me your first question.
Letting all the tax cuts expire.
What I think we should do, given the fact that we're in the cool economic situation that we're in right now, is to allow the tax cuts for people who make over $250,000 adjusted gross income expire. Keep those tax breaks in place for now for people who make less than $250,000 adjusted gross income. If you look at the Recovery Act, a third of it was tax cuts. Some of those things are going to begin to go away, such as the first-time home buyer credit. We need to continue to create a light tax burden on the middle-class folks who are the driving force within this economy. So that's how I'd approach it.
I got one question for you too,
Sure.
Mark. I'm gonna take leadership
You get the
rules.
last question.
Okay, great. Lately on NPR and all, they had the Iraqi reconstruction general or whatever he is on there, and the amount of waste and lost money. And I happened to go to a website today to track it down a little bit more, and are we still spending $2 billion over there? And are we going to try to, between Iraq and Afghanistan, and are we going to, and can you, in this next 2 years, help, have that be accountable?
Absolutely. First up, I don't know the exact figure on a daily basis, but the amount of waste, fraud, and abuse has been absolutely criminal. The fact that it's not a bigger story, and a lot of it was cultural, and some of the changes that need to be made have been made. You don't see the same in Iraq. You would oftentimes see almost everything possible outsourced. So everything from, I was talking to a Marine who was on one of my Codel to Afghanistan, and he was telling me that there were people showing up in the morning with a latte from a Starbucks or a McDonald's fancy coffee to the morning briefing, and he said it created a situation where it was so distracting that people really weren't focused on the mission. That is not the way it is in Afghanistan today. And I can tell you there's a chow hall, there's people who provide the food, but it's not a Disneyland. It's serious business, and people take it seriously, and that's come down straight from the top. Even before Petraeus was there, General McChrystal had that same approach. In addition, we have started to look at the whole issue of outsourcing comprehensively and say we need to look and determine what is inherently governmental and what is better provided by somebody else, because we don't do that well, and stop hiring people to do things that are inherently governmental, that the military should be doing or that other branches of the government should be doing. And we need to figure out where that line is and be able to defend it. The third thing we did in the Armed Services Committee that I was a part of is that we passed 2 major pieces of legislation, one last year and one this year, to redo how we do acquisition reform throughout the military. One to determine to reform how we do big projects, things like a new fighter jet or a helicopter, and the other to redo how we do small projects, everything from clothes to boots, to make sure that we never go down that road again where every day we're hearing stories of waste and money disappearing or purchasing things that don't hold up quality-wise, and then they end up, our troops end up with substandard equipment in the field. That is changing, and it's changing dramatically. So I want to thank you.
you all for the opportunity.